Hello, gangsters. Yeah, what up? Hello and welcome to another episode of my live streaming session called The Beat Reviews. We are here to review some beats, to listen to music from you guys and to talk about them, break things down, and all the stuff we always do on Mondays. That's kind of a cool way to start it. That's my best intro ever. It feels like. But yeah, we are here. Hello. Hi. Just to make sure that everything works, we are over there, but we're also over here. And if that doesn't work, we're also over here. That's kind of a crazy angle now that I think about it, but yeah. Hey guys, how are we doing? The chat room has gone completely crazy. I just started, but even before this, it's a scheduled live stream and it's up on YouTube, so you can go in and wait for it. The chat room is just, I haven't even read through it. People are just talking about themselves. I don't even know if I need to be here. Seriously, do I? Am I providing enough? Or are you guys providing enough? Is that good enough? Just you guys hanging out. We have some of our regulars in here. We have Chris52, of course. Hello. And we have Benj, we have Illinois, we have Moldy Thoughts, we have Stan Solo, someone called L, who says hey hey in Swedish. Gken, Disfunk, Clstr, JRZ. A lot of regulars, a lot of friends. That's a good thing. We love that. We love seeing that. So, for the third week, I think. Yeah, I guess that's right. For the third consecutive week, we are doing it as live as possible again. I'm going to go into my website soon enough and open up the submission. Or maybe that's smart to do right now. Frequency IO says it's his first time here. Hi. Hello and welcome. You have come to this concept of mine. Let's do a little introduction of what this is, first of all. Beat reviews. Accurate beats, beat reviews, live on YouTube, every single week. Might be every other in the future, but right now, every single week. Every Monday, the same time, same place. I'm going to open up my website for, the form, opening it up so you guys can submit beats to the series. And I'm going to accept like 10 of them, something like that. And we're going to play them on stream, talk about them. And I'm going to do my best to try to provide some constructive feedback. And that's also what people in the chat room are doing. So it's kind of a cool thing, kind of a fun concept. And my little way of trying to give something back to people that are following me on YouTube. Because we have a lot of awesome beat makers who are making music. And sometimes making beats could be kind of a lonely thing to do. Sometimes, I know this more than anyone else, you can just start feeling a little bit alone and a little bit by yourself, and you don't really have anyone to care about the stuff you're doing. And that's what we're here for. So that's the concept. That's what we're doing. And in order to get this party started, I need to, because I haven't done this before, because again, I am kind of a dumbass, and that's fine. My website tool is open though, so that's something. So let's go in there and let's do some adjustments. And the adjustments I'm talking about is basically going into the beat review thing on my website. What website? This website, right here. Accurate. Looks so awkward every single time. AccurateBeats.com. You're soon able to go in there. Soon. I need to do some editing. Should I kind of do this right before going live? Yeah, sure I should. But time, planning, whatever. Open. Then we got to do the actual thing. And take that one out. And insert that one. Okay, I might be a dumbass for real. I can't do this in Safari. I am an Apple fanboy and I do everything on Apple computers and iOS devices and whatever. And I use Safari as my main web browser. Which sometimes just means that I can't do whatever I want to do. Making changes on my actual website is difficult, if not impossible, in Safari. So I need to log into Google, use Google. Okay. Yeah. Talk amongst yourself. You did that really well just now, so please keep doing that. Accuratebeats.com is the place to be. That's the website down here. Beat review, that's a sub page, and it still says closed because Safari is great, but sometimes it doesn't work. So let's go for that. And you know, I am just a single freaking guy. I don't have anyone to help me out with anything. Now it doesn't work in Chrome either, because this is not Chrome. This is again Safari. How did that happen? This is Chrome. Log in. And that's wrong. Jesus. Okay. Okay. Now I'm receiving all sorts of things. Whatever. We are here to listen to music and play music, and you guys can't even send them in. You will be able to do that soon enough, though. Now we are in Chrome, in the website tool, and here I can do everything. Okay. Stop talking and start working. That would make sense. That's the thing. We don't want that, but instead we want that. Okay, that should be it. So, if I'm doing everything all right, yes, it's open. It is open, for real. For real. Sorry about that. Now, you are able to go to accuratebeats.com right down here. Click into Beat Review, because that's what we're doing. And in there you have this form where you can type your artist name and a little message if you want to, and attach a file. The file has to be under 10 megabytes, so it needs to be an MP3, and just submit it. It's going to arrive to me in my inbox, and I'm going to be able to download the file, and we're going to listen to it. So if you want an opportunity to be played in this live stream and talked about your music for, I don't even know how long, but you know, now is the time. Get in there. Get in there. accuratebeats.com. accuratebeats.com. That's where you want to go. That's where you need to go to submit your beat for this live stream. Sure, I could be kind of like professional and do something like that. You know, just keeping it nice and tidy like that up there. I'm not gonna, though. Looks too good, so to me, That's better. Pixelated and everything. Awesome. What are you guys saying? It works. Cool. Thank you. Chris52, let the beats flood in. Yeah, please do so. The more beats, the better. That's not true. I had like 16 of them last week, and that was too much. We did all of them, but the last few of them, I wasn't there for that, mentally. Now we are... Okay, shit. Fuck, shit. It's closed. We're gonna close it. I need to close it. Jesus. Is this true? Okay, Mark. No, my mouse doesn't work. Edit. So it's already full. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not. I'm not clear. It's closed right now. Let's fuck it. Let's do that. What the fan i helvete? Fuck me. Yeah. So what just happened was 17 beats. Fuck you guys. I'm sorry about this. I'm actually sorry about this. This was not supposed to happen. Yeah, I need an admin. Tell me something I don't know. Doing all this all by myself is kind of crazy. So I figured if I open it up like 24 hours before, it's going to be overwhelmingly, it's going to be overwhelming. So I'm going to do it this bad way instead. Just opening it up on stream, being here like, that thing. So then I can monitor everything live, I can keep track on the emails and stuff. We're talking for like a minute and shit. I'm sorry about this. Actually, sorry. Not me being like, yeah, I got so many. No, it's actually unfortunate. Let's update the email again just to make sure. I put myself in the same position last week, but then we had it open for like 11 minutes. Now, less than that. Way less. So the first beat came in 1 minute ago? Is that right? AccurateBeats.com. Beat review. Yeah, can't get in there. It's not live. So, okay. The first one came in, according to this, 4 minutes ago. And the second one, the last one, 1 minute ago. That's 3 minutes. Okay, I didn't see this coming. I keep talking to that camera. That one's on right now. Yeah, noise, I know. Help me buy another mic. Okay. I think it's just, sitting here complaining about it. It's crazy. I don't want to complain. This is awesome. To just know that you guys... No, not 70 beats. Not 70. No. 17. We got to be somewhat reasonable, 17, not 70. I'm not that freaking popular. Were you guys waiting for this? .6 beats per minute. Hi, accurate. Do a small event. For example, listen to our made a music track. What do you mean? Okay. And Ken Don didn't have enough time to add anything. To add a greeting. Okay, that's understandable. I've been waiting for 9 hours. Refreshing the page. No, that's not true. Still though, you guys were obviously on it today. Just, we have 60 people watching, 60 out of 60 people watching, 17 got your beat sent in like 4 minutes. 3 minutes. What did I say? 4 minutes ago, 6 minutes ago. That's 2 minutes. Let's say 3. I don't even care. So, I had a team of admin refreshing the page for me all week. Yeah. So, yeah, this is all fun. This is not a problem. It's just that I know myself. Whenever we start getting into the beats, I'm going to keep talking about stuff forever. And then it's going to be 3.5 hours and we're going to sit here. Whatever. We just got to start this thing out, right? The first one came in 6 minutes ago, so we got to start at the other end. Okay, cool. So, let's get into it. I guess we don't have much of a choice. Sitting here talking about something else. No. So, and don't get me wrong. I'm not upset for real. This is awesome. Just, yeah, this is just good. This is awesome. This is not bad at all. This is so fun. This is what it's all about, But if I if I waited for 10 minutes, would we have even more? I don't even know. I need this to be sustainable and working in the future too. So that's what my mind is going through the entire thing. Whatever. The first beat for today comes in from Pian, skibinski. Robot Bodies, a super duo of producers from Poland. We make music on MPCs, digitacts, analog synthesizers, and also on computers, depending on what we have at hand. Late Night Walk, which comes from our first EP. Stylistically, it touches on hip-hop in triple rhythm, and with this track we take you for a walk through the streets of Warsaw. Cool. Downloaded. Let's play this shit. Just making sure the tech holds up. I gotta move my OBS window over there. That makes sense. Yeah, cool. So let's go. The first beat for today. So that's the first beat for today. Awesome stuff. You pointed out the tripleness of the drums in the email, and that's obviously the thing that strikes you first of all with this beat. The groove. The dum da ka da da dum da ka da da dum dum ka da da dum dum ka. That's cool. Buckshot Jerry says, I don't imagine any rapper though. No, me neither. Having someone rapping on that wouldn't be impossible, of course, but it doesn't feel like a beat with a rapper in mind, you know? So we had a few things going. The drum groove, for sure. The bass line stood out. And the chords and all the atmospheric stuff going on in there. Other than that, a part of me feels like, you could have fitted in a melody on top of it somewhere. The breakdown was really cool too, though. Gotta be pointed out. The breakdown with the different drums and the different feel, really, really effectful. And there's a lot of cool stuff going on in terms of the texture of the sound. And that goes a long way. Together with those drums and everything that goes on, it's cool. But I have said this before. What if we had a melody on top of it? Like a pluck synth, or I don't even know, an 8-bit kind of saw wavy thing? Square wave, I mean. It's nice as an instrumental, just as it is. Maybe for like a movie or for advertisement or anything like that. Not bad stuff at all. It sounded good, In my player here, it feels like the mix came through a little bit strong, maybe a little bit overcompressed or whatever. But that's not the end of the world, We don't care too much about that stuff. And the side chaining going on in the synth feels good. But there's something there that gives you, I guess it's the snare drum and the reverb on the snare that gives me an 80s kind of feel. Thinking about movies like Tron or something. Atmospheric and nice and kind of beautiful, but still a little bit 80s. Electronica kind of stuff. Not too 80s, not like bubblegum 80s. Neon yellow or whatever, but and the progression comes out really clearly because of the bass line. Bow, bow, bow. It's nice. That type of little wow on the attack is cool in this style and this genre, but maybe also a little bit tiring in the long run. Transitions were natural and awesome. Cool. Reading the chat, someone says 100%. Cool. Martin says he's a good friend. And me. Oh, okay, so it's you and someone else. Awesome. Cool. And that needs to be pointed out too, because we're doing this as live as possible. I just got the beats a few minutes ago. I hope that as many of the producers that made the beats are in the chat room as possible, so we can bounce ideas off each other and people can take the feedback and kind of tell me that I'm wrong in the chat room if that's the case, because that's often the case. I just talk about stuff. I'm not always right. We don't need that one anymore. And someone asked in the chat room, and please help me out if you have the time. Someone asked, how do you send in beats? Please explain it, if anyone's there. I can't keep up with the chat room in text too, because the submission is closed for today. I need to rethink this in the future. Yeah, I know. But for now, you can't submit a beat. We already have enough for this show. And I'm deaf on one ear, but this mix sounds like something to me that probably has a lot of left and right going on, a lot of panning, which makes sense in this genre, but I just can't appreciate it. Doesn't look like that on the meter though, that it's like hard left and right pan. But what do I know? And I guess when I'm talking about the 80s kind of feel I'm getting out of this, it's just the drums I'm talking about. That kick drum is pretty much just a click. Okay, it has a little bit of punch too, but there's a lot of attack on it. And the snare drum with the reverb. You know, a cool track, a cool little thing to start listening to for this show. I appreciate it. Cool. So let's move on to the next one. And just so you know, if you're here for the first time ever, I try to be constructive and positive, but I also don't have a problem with like pointing out what's wrong about something or what could be improved. And, you know, making art is an artistic process. It's creative by nature. So trying a thing, I'm saying like, yeah, you could have added like a pure melody on top of it. Maybe that's a bad idea, but you should try just to see how it works. If it works. If it doesn't, that's fine. It just feels like that mix had room for a proper melody. But, you know, let's move on to the next one. That one needs to be marked off, and the next one comes from Stan Solo. This is not your first or second or even, this might be your third time being featured. Thank you for coming back. To me, that means I'm doing something wrong. Right. To me, that means I'm doing something right. And you are too. Stan Solo, Peace Accurate. Thanks for doing the Illust radio show for us. I made this beat solely, I can't say that word. I made this beat on the SP404 Mark II and released it on my debut EP Pavement Flowers on Bandcamp. It was hella fun to make. Hope you and the community enjoy. Much love. God bless. And someone downloaded my sample pack for $0. Crossroads by Mr. Stan Solo. Let's go. Cool stuff. And the fact that I can keep the mic over there is kind of crazy. Really cool stuff. If you've been here before, and you have, I know that, Stan Solo, but, you know, talking to everyone. If you've been here before, you always or often hear me talking about variation. You know, creating an arrangement out of stuff and having more than just a single pattern or a single loop. It's not often I say the opposite, but for this one, I think I want to say the opposite. First of all, nice and jazzy feel, and that kind of drums really works together with the entire thing. Love it. Really good track, hands down. But, because there's always a but, variation is difficult. And here, as a producer myself, I'm picking up a few things that I really, really love about this. Like the piano thing that went like bling, 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 bling. Awesome. I want to hear more of that. I want that to be a distinctive loop that comes back around. In the two different variations you had them, of course. But to me, like being harsh about it, trying to be almost mean about it, it feels like you kind of just made a bunch of different loops and you just put them on the timeline. You know? Me being pretty mean, I know. But for this, it would have made more sense for me to just keep some of the loops repeating, to build patterns that is recognizable and that I can kind of grab onto as a listener. Because whenever I heard something I really liked, it went away. You know? So you did the right thing, but maybe a little bit too much to my taste, because now, you know, we're talking about stuff, we're breaking things down, and we're being overly analytical about stuff. And I know, sometimes I talk about a beat for longer than it took for you to make it. That's just what it is. This is an awesome beat. It had pretty much everything. Maybe the bass line is nice. It's sampled and it's in there and it works together. But just repeating a few of the patterns a few times over wouldn't hurt. Because when you make the beat, you're all in the zone and you've heard the loop for 1,000 times. I haven't. So whenever I find one of those loops in there that I just, wow, that's awesome. That's a song in itself. And it just it just flies by. Maybe that's the idea though. Maybe that's what you want. And in that case, hands down, salute to you. But I would have put a little bit more thought into how things were arranged. You had a lot of the stuff in there, which is awesome, which is cool. A lot of variation is rarely a bad thing. But when the style is like this, I just want to rest in the loop I enjoy the most. Just sent in my beat. No, you didn't. Just now? You couldn't. It's closed. No, you can't. No, that's not right. The upright bass is cool, but a little distant. Yeah, the upright bass, I loved that stuff, for sure. The bass was awesome. I would have liked a little bit more of it, but that's me. MF Doom vibes, someone says. That's a compliment, if anything. People are loving the sample, loving the drums, loving everything about it, and I keep talking about the variation and stuff, the arrangement. Fuck me. Awesome track, awesome samples, awesome sound selection overall. The snare drum in this one, the snare drum fit so nicely in there. Play. That bling, 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 to me, it tells a story in itself, and then, I just lose it. Awesome track. Who was this? Stan Solo, of course, my friend, our friend. Stan Solo says thank you. Thanks a lot for the feedback. to everyone. You know, this is the cool thing. Whatever I sit here and talk about, that could be kind of ignored if you want to. We have enough people in the chat room who are committed to help out and give feedback and have ideas and opinions and stuff. That's awesome. I'm just one of you guys, you know. Oh, we got a new member. Chris52. Chris52. You didn't need to do that. You are, you know, Chris52 is my AFK IRL friend. I actually know the guy. So supporting my channel, becoming a member. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to buy you a beer next time I see you. Or, I know you're not big on beer. You know what I'm saying. Thank you. Another supporter. Another member. And that could be pointed out too. I'm not making any money off this. These live streams are not monetized whatsoever. So becoming a channel member or just subscribing on to the channel or leaving a super chat or something, whatever like that helps. More viewers than usual, more beats coming in than you can handle. Well worth of supporting. Thank you. Thank you. Chris52, I appreciate that. Stan Solo, I think we have kind of talked about that enough. Which leads me to the next one. From Clay Hammer. That's a cool artist name. Clay Hammer. Thanks for taking the time to provide feedback. And the beat is called, you know, one of those names that you have in your DAW. 0203 2025 plus A minor plus 90 BPM underscore 6. You know, whenever you work on things, that's what it becomes. So let's listen to Clay Hammer. Okay, cool. That's 2 minutes. Let's just see what happens right here. Not much. Whatever. Okay, that's 2 and 15. Cool. Cool. Someone in the chat room said something really, really awesome. I can imagine Tupac performing Picture Me Rolling over this one. Tupac, for sure. For sure. You know, me being deaf on one ear and all that, I have a problem hearing like left and right, of course, which is spatial audio and all that stuff. this beat still felt nice and airy, and this piano sound is beautiful. A beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piano sound, together with drums that feels like old school Tupac or like whatever Eminem song with the hi-hat pattern. It's awesome. It's cool. The bass line sticks out like a sore thumb. Sticks out like a sore thumb? I don't even know if that's how you say that. The bass line, if it would have been a little bit different and a little bit decreased in volume and maybe with a different sound entirely to just fit in there, this would be almost perfect. It's nice and spacious and beautiful, and the chord progression is really cool. The different melodies going on, the playing, everything about the piano is just chef's kiss, beautiful. To me, it needs a little bit more work as a production to be like fully fleshed out and done, and that's the bass line fitting into the mix better. Mixing bass is difficult. A lot of people just doesn't do it much enough. They just keep the bass low in the mix, and that's what I do sometimes too. When you're not confident that you're in the right pitch or you're playing the right thing or whatever. This time around, it's right in all the right places when it comes to the musicality of it. But sonically, just needs different bass, And of course, the whole thing that just expands. Let's find that. The snare might be a little bit loud, but can't find it. The bass, dun 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 dun. Feels like that Warren G track. Not Renegade, something kind of similar, whatever. It's too loud, it's too much. There we are, over here. This is, oof. Boom, wait for it. Boom. Awesome, beautiful. The entire thing reminds me of something else, somehow, in a really good way. It's not like plagiarism or whatever, but it's really cool. I appreciate this. The musicality in this just hits the, it hits the nail on the head. Why am I trying all these? I don't even know. Really good stuff. More of a bass line that blends into the mix. I think that would help this track becoming what it could become, I think that bass line, Buckshot Jerry says it too. Yeah, I think that bass line sounds like too digital. The same with those hi-hats and shakers. Really good song with the chords. I don't agree. I think everything about the drums makes it kind of cool. Having that contrast between like the really dynamic piano playing and the really like atmospheric stuff and the digital thing with the drums is fine, but the bass line is what kind of breaks it apart for me. Kane TV, yeah, I'm sorry, it's too late for submissions right now. We got too much music in too little time, and we can't just, sorry. I need to rethink this entire thing. I do. But for now, let's just keep doing it. I got 5 on it bass. Yeah, sure. It reminds me of it. Doom, doom, doom. But there's also a Warren G. The beat also reminds me a little bit of Renegade, Eminem and Jay-Z. But I'm thinking about that Warren G. What is that? Warren G together with Nate Dogg, I think. Revelunate? It's called something. Who cares? And you're gonna point it out in the chat room whenever the delay doesn't. Whatever. Thanks a lot for sending this one in. This was an awesome track from Clay Hammer. We appreciate this one. And just because I keep pointing out stuff that could be improved doesn't mean that I don't like it. It's awesome. It's good. Could it be worked on? Yeah. Am I right? No. The next one comes from Leonardo Basso. Hopefully also someone who's in the chat room ready to take some feedback. Leonardo Basso. As it was last time, not a beat. If you want, you can sample it. Okay, so it's not a beat. Cool. Doesn't have to. Could be anything. From Leonardo Basso. Cool. So, right off the bat, to be totally honest, I'm not smart enough, I'm not a musician enough to have anything valuable to say about this one. That's just what it is. A great little composition in every single way. A part of me has, maybe I'm lacking a little bit of the high frequencies from a mixing standpoint, just taking an EQ curve and just nudge it. I don't know. In terms of the actual playing and the notes and the composition, this is good stuff. This is really cool. So maybe using this one as a sample and flip it. It's also a little bit difficult whenever you do the bass lines on the piano and you're still playing it. So you have the dum 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 in the back. It becomes hard to chop it up because you don't have any distinct waveforms or formats or whatever they're called. Awesome stuff. Let's consider that one as more of a palate cleanser than anything else. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You don't have to make beats and send in to this little live show. That's not what it's about. Music in general, Grandma asks, would you sample it? I don't think I would, actually. This is something I think because you have the groove, or the bass of the rhythm, dum 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 dum, in the background the entire time, which makes it difficult to chop up. I saw Bo Beats here. Bo Beats, what's good, accurate, and chat? What's good, Bo Beats? Nice having you here. Cool stuff. It's a dope composition. Everyone says the same. Tomorrow's live stream, flipping your samples live. Yeah, that could be cool. That could be really cool. Let's think about that. For this piece of music, though, it's just nice. It's a palate cleanser. It's beautiful. It's, it tells a story. It's really theatrical. Theatrical? Dramatical? It's good. And I'm not the guy to say anything. If I could make stuff like that myself and I had the patience to learn or to program it, I wouldn't have a life. But I do. That's awesome. Thank you. From Leonardo Basso. Keep sending those in. It's a beautiful thing to just, get on with. Now, the next one. Benj. No actual name yet. Oh, that's the last name part. Thank you, AB. Or thanks, AB. So this is from Benj in the chat room. And Benj has been featured before, and I think he will be featured again. And right now, we're going to play his music. Okay? Benj. That's not what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. Benj with a track called Obsolete Flower. Let's go.
Came to me in a dream where her mind was the theme. Slipstreams passed through me where her light seemed to beam. Her chestnut eyes filled the voids in between. A desolate reality where hope intervened. Through the smoke it was seen, not a whole human being. A silhouette of petals that got spoiled in the scheme of man's rage. The lands got ravaged in campaigns of war savages, abandoned shame. Some called her Dunya. When she spoke it felt like the mossi old Tunya. The fall of her voice refreshing in its pose wonder. I'm all in the flesh reflecting what the soul conjures. As there was nothing else beyond her, I held tight upon this realization. I pondered, could you be saved? I wanna be more than a sponsor. A petri dish fell in my hands. It was no longer a feature-length spell in my plans of my dishonor. Obsolete flower, it existed in my mind. Obsolete flower, out here I couldn't find. Obsolete flower, seen this a dozen times. Obsolete flower, it's got me preoccupied. Obsolete flower, it existed in my mind. Obsolete flower, out here I couldn't find. Obsolete flower, seen this a dozen times. Obsolete flower has got me preoccupied. Choice of poison. I'm swigging from the glass, cancel out noises. Fit my headset on fast, tractions avoided. Fell asleep to escape, back to my appointment. Smell her sweet by the lake, took a seat by her face. How the West is shaping her mind state. I was just relieved in her grace. Rose stems sharpen their thorns to keep their place. Boulder lens darkened with horns, season their fate. She showed me there's nothing at all that he can hate. The ocean which summons the fool is appreciated. Alleviated from stress in the world he created. Minus your beauty is more or less depreciated. Over-sexualize the only, contextualize the phony. Women and men pitted against each other slowly.
Damn, that's 2 minutes. I'm gonna cut it off right there. Jeez. Benji with the fire. Again. Keep sending really good stuff to the show, for sure. I hate to say it, but I'm gonna do it. Just as with your last one, or the one before that, or whatever. The vocals are a little bit too loud for my taste. Just, half a decibel, maybe 1.5, whatever. The beat is nice and it shines, and you don't give it enough credit because the rapper, it's not you, it's your friend. Awesome. But it's too loud to me. Am I wrong? We gotta talk about boom bap production in like a different way here, because you make great music and you know that. The mix, I still think the vocals need to be taken down, but that's pretty much all I have to say. The beat in itself, your head starts going like crazy, just the first 6 seconds. And a lot of people who are making beats in this kind of genre are making the same mistake. You're not doing it. That's why I'm bringing it up. The swing of old school hip hop like this is, of course, the drums. And the swing of the drums, the feel of the drums, the sound of the drums, but not without the bass line. And you're showing us that so clearly in this one. To me, it's so obvious. The drums are awesome just as they are, but the bass line here is what really makes your neck move, We could start pointing things out, like the shaker or the hi-hat or whatever you use. It's a little bit stiff. It's a little bit on the same kind of velocity setting. It's instead of It doesn't bother me because you have the amount of swing from the entire thing. The drums and the bass line, and of course, a flute like that on top of a old school beat. Who could deny that,
She came to me in a dream where her mind was the theme. Slipstreams passed through me where...
But it feels like the beat is over here and the rapper is just, sitting on top of it. To me, it just needs to be glued together somehow. You can do a lot of stuff like that with just EQing back and forth. Or compression, Bend. The bass was processed using a real Poltec. Okay, that, you can make beats without stuff like that, but awesome. Chris52 says there was a weird glitch over. Yeah, I heard that. Sure, at about 1 minute when the hook started. What happened there?
And I pondered, could you be saved? I want to be more than a sponsor. A petri dish fell in my hands. It was no longer a feature-length spell in my plans of my dishonor. Obsolete flower, it existed in my mind. Obsolete flower.
Yeah, that has to be a mistake in your DAW. It's a glitch that's not on beat and cool, But things can be fixed up. Very nice rap. Yeah, of course. The beat is awesome. The rap is really good. I love his voice. It's just really good stuff. That's in stereo, in the melody samples, the filter, and the harps. What are you talking about? I'll just move the fader down. Yeah, yeah, it's just a matter of just lowering the volume. It's not the end of the world. Mastering aspect in such high art, accurate beats. Rugged Wax 96. Yeah, unfortunately, the submission form is closed for today. I had it open for like 3 minutes, and we got more beats than I wanted. So next week, try again, please. And now, as I think about it, that's awesome. We can do one of those polls for that. I'm thinking about a thing here. I could be wrong. I just need you guys to give me some feedback on this. + poll. Should we do an episode? No. Yes. No. So what I'm doing here is that I'm starting a poll, asking you guys, because I love having regular people coming in on the show. Like the fact that we've heard beats or tracks from Benj and from what's your name? Stan Solo and people like that more than once. To me, it's awesome. but maybe we should try to create some space for people who hasn't been featured to get some new people in the submissions. I mean, because the chat room is what it is, and I'm not going to ban anyone. That's not what I'm saying. But maybe we should do like the next week's episode and just say, if you haven't submitted before, please do so. We're going to dedicate the space for someone who hasn't been played on the show over the last, 5 weeks, So the question is, should we do an episode without the regulars? 88% says yes. That's me trying to figure this thing out. And that's nothing against you, Benj. Of course not. We love hearing your stuff. But you have been featured before, so why not just take one episode and just leave it for just people that I don't know since before? Who knows? It's just a thought. The next beat comes in from JRZ Beats, who has been featured once, I think. Hi, Accurate. Thanks again for hosting this stream. This beat is something I came up with from a $1 record bin in the record store down the street. Wanted to know if the drum groove needs adjustment or if it works. Really specific. That's cool. Much love from the States. The beat is called Griselda shit. So maybe inspired by Griselda. I wanted to know if the drum groove needs adjustment or if it works. Let's listen to everything, but let's try to focus on the drums for a little bit too. What the fuck do you want me to say about this? Come on. The chat room is filled with like fire emojis and people are loving it. What do you want from me? You had a specific question about the drum groove. Fuck you. The drum groove is awesome. Everything about it is really, really good. Someone pointed out that the piano... What did you say? Nice, but that piano roll gets a bit much. Yeah, I gotta agree. The whole... It's cool, but not that often, It's a little bit much. But the drums, the sample... Couldn't even try to start like picking it apart as I heard it because it's just overwhelmingly good. Jesus. But you can't tell me that the low notes on the piano here is from the sample. That one. Not a chance that's a sample. You've added piano and that's awesome. It's not a bad thing. I'm not, it's just not the sample, which is fine. Bluesy. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. JRZ Beats says LOL. That's the sample, I swear. No, it's not. No, it's not. Those low piano notes in the beginning that made this bass line thing, it's not in the sample. Not a chance. But really good stuff. Chopping up vocal samples like that and just, leaving the soul-y, bluesy feeling with this raw hip-hoppy kind of stuff. It's just, love it. I can show the screen. Okay. So if it's a sample, you sample yourself playing that and that and that. I get it. I'm joking, of course. If you're telling me that's the sample, that's the sample. I'm not going to be that. It just doesn't sound like it to me. Specifically talking about the drum groove, yeah, man, it fits in there. It's nice. When it first dropped from the intro, I felt like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. The drums could be even more like swingy and have this drunken kind of feel. But as the beat played out, no, that would probably be wrong. You picked the right groove. That's what I think. Stemmed through Serato sample. Maybe. Let's move along. JRC Beats, great work. Everyone loved it. I loved it. Awesome stuff. The next one comes from Pete KS, one of the regulars on the show, who has submitted for a lot of shows week by week. Hi, accurate. Hi, listeners. Had some fun with the sample. Not the stuff I usually do, but I liked the groove. Best regards from Pete. Pete KS is also a member on the channel, and we love everything about him. All I'm saying is that maybe we should dedicate a show for not the regulars, because you guys are kind of on the clock, checking out whenever it's live and just, which is cool. You are entitled to do that, but maybe. I'm just repeating myself now. You know what I'm saying? Let's listen to this one. Pete KS with Joyride. Okay, I fucked up. Tried to lower the volume. Instead, I just killed it. 2 minutes. Made for this stream, I guess. Awesome stuff. Pete KS. Great stuff. Like the first half of it, I found myself like thinking, yeah, this is a modern take on sampling and kind of a modern, new schooly way of approaching it. Then I kind of like adjusted and I just stopped thinking like that. What's impressive here to me is like the punchiness of the drums sticks out. Really well produced, well mixed or well processed or whatever. Super punchy drums, super nice feeling, and the bass line sits perfectly in there. Definitely. And this saxophone ordeal at the end here, you know, that's just crossing the T's. And there's this cool relationship between the pitch values of things here. It's not just straight up, I played a sample, I chopped it up and I put it together and then I just fit the bass line in there. It feels like you put more thought than that into it. Somehow, someone said it's in different keys. That could be it, sure. But repetitive at first it feels, but then the change was nice. Yeah, sure, I agree. This was really good. Kane TV says, I think the bass and the melody are in different keys in general. Maybe they are, but in like parallel keys or whatever. Feels nice and electronic in kind of a cool way. To me, this feels different and exciting. It's cool. But over here, hands down, you got to give it to him. And that's also a nice touch. Whenever you bring in a solo instrument, don't play everything at once, you know? Leave space for that one. Just as if you made a beat for a rapper, leave some space for the rapper to shine. And in here, you could have done the whole thing with the chops and all the micro chopping things, and it would have been too much. Instead, you just took everything down, left the bass line and the drums and a few of the, you know? Like the Rhodes piano still in there. And sure, why not just add some congas into it too? Really cool. This is, to me, the definition of well-produced, you know? It has a lot of everything, but nothing becomes too much, you know? For me, I find the beginning a bit childlike, but then it gets all grown up with the saxophone. Maybe it's just the instrument used for the melody at start. Childish? I know what you're saying. It feels like I would say playful and fun, but you're still kind of just by holding the tempo like that, because having sounds like that kind of implies a faster tempo, more energy, and you're still keeping it kind of chill. I think that's nice. Well-produced stuff for sure. Are we now talking dust tech in the beat chat? Sure. We can talk about vacuum cleaners and stuff. So the poll needs to be stopped. Should we do an episode without the regulars? That's a weird way of phrasing it, but you know what I'm saying. 82% said yes. 18% said no. Are those the regulars saying no? Yes, it is. Some of them. So I think maybe next week, when I announce the stream on Instagram or whatever, maybe I'm gonna say that. Like, if you haven't sent in anything before, or maybe just once, please send in your stuff. If you are one of the regulars, I'm just not gonna play you. Does that make sense? To me, that sounds fair. We want as many people as possible to kind of be given the opportunity to be played. Not just for them, but also for us, to hear more people, to discover whatever people are doing right or wrong and get inspired by new folks. I voted yes, just to be clear. Benj, awesome. Pete KS too. Sure, I know. It's not just, it's not just me having that idea. A lot of people are with me on that train. Maybe next week. Let me marinate that idea for a bit. We still have a few beats to go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And one of them or something could always be, a YouTube link instead. But we could have 10. We could have less. Next one comes from Clstr in the chat room. Clstr Simon. Made on my new MPC Key 37. It's this one right here. Simple beat. So you're new to the MPC Key 37. How do you like it? Do you like it as much as I do and hate the color as much as I do? Or what's up? Clstr. Mindfire. That's more than 2 minutes. A lot of people in the chat room are saying exactly what I thought. This makes me happy. This is fun. This gives me Hawaiian vibes and just, party times and nice feelings. My criticism, because, that's who I am and that's what I do. I am lacking a little bit of dynamics in terms of the arrangement. Because even though this right here is really fun, it's really fun. The beat also starts like this. Maybe you just haven't worked on it like that, but if we made an arrangement of this, I would like to have this really busy part with every single instrument going as fun as possible. Somewhere in the middle of the track, letting it build up slowly to that point. To just create a little bit of nuance and dynamics and a little bit of, progression over time. This feels like you have worked on stuff and you made a loop and then you made another one and you just, that's fine. But in terms of arrangement, we need some ups and downs as a listener. Just getting used to the MPC, of course. So then you start working on something and it becomes a loop, and that's what you do. What I'm saying, if you wanted to finish this one off, I'm sure you know that. You're not stupid. You need to kind of arrange it and lay it out in a way that makes sense. Because starting it like this, having the middle like this, and the end of it like this. That's a good idea, man. Thank you. I agree. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like if it's a cohesive, consumable piece of music, maybe you don't want everything thrown in your face at once. Sometimes you do. That's a cool thing too. But if that's not like the intended purpose of this thing, just lay it out. Introduce one thing at a time and take it nice and slow. And whenever it's fun, it's going to be even more fun. It's going to sound and feel even more fun because it's contrasting to something that's not as much, But everyone says it. It's cool and it's fun. And, there's so many different sounds in here. Just that guitar takes a lot of space and it's cool. But that's one of those things that should be introduced, like make some kind of a dropout in the drums and whatever and go for to introduce things. Building up and building down, like creating tension, is never a bad thing. I'm not a master of it myself, but in this case, I can just see that it would have been even more fun to listen to if we didn't have everything at once. Thank you, Clstr. Thanks for submitting. We love hearing it. And you like your MPC key 37, but you don't like the color. Okay, so you're kind of like me. It's my go-to for pretty much everything these days. I love my MPC key 37. It's awesome. But it's too red. I'm getting bored of it, I never liked it at all for the color of it, but the more I see it, the less I like it. It's not one of those things that grows on you. It's the opposite of that. So the next one comes from, this is someone I don't think we've heard before. Mike Silvkin. I made this song using the Synthstrom Deluge, cutting up samples and creating the beat. I then went into Ableton to do some arranging. The Deluge. I love hearing music made on the Deluge. I really don't use mine as much as I should. I 100% concur with what you're saying. Thank you, Accurate Beats and all. I will develop the arrangement and do drum fills for sure. Awesome. Which means, we got something said. And someone's got to do something. Please do. That would be cool. Silvis in the chat room says, that's me. So Silvis in the chat room is the same person as Mike Silvkin. Cool. Let's go. So, the producer of this one said something that we need to pick up. My first attempt at hip-hop, by the way. For real? That's cool. So, there's something... Please help me out in the chat room, because I don't really know what I'm talking about now. But there's something about this one. I like the vibe of it, and it flows nicely, and everything's, But there's something about, I guess it's 808, the bass notes. It might just be the pitch not being totally accurate, or it might be the mixing. There's something, to me, there's a breakage somewhere. I talk about glue sometimes, and it's hard to say what glue actually is, but it needs to be glued together. Something about the bass frequencies kind of sticking out in kind of a cool way, but not, I don't know if that's what you're going for. Might just be a mixing thing. Might be a musical thing. Really hard to say right now. And you also have all the different, the frequencies on the hi-hats is kind of peaking and kind of all over the place. That's a bit messy to me, but fine. Nice and simple. This is cool. The sample sits in there really nicely. That feels really good to me. That's the glue I'm talking about. You accomplish that with the sample, the vocals. Something about the bass line doesn't really, really work the same way for me. Maybe it's just the difference between the hi-hat being all and the bass line all... I don't know. Very good first attempt, yeah, for sure. This is not your first piece of music you've ever made. It's just your first attempt at hip-hop. And I think you did a good job, a great job. The sample and how you used everything just works really well. Something about the bass line and stuff I have a hard time not thinking about, but that's just me. This is really good, for sure. And having two different versions of the vocal sample like that works. This is good. Maybe the reverb on the vocals. Maybe? There's no such thing as right or wrong, right? But in this genre, traditionally, people don't use, or I haven't heard a lot of people use reverb like that. It's not wrong and it's not bad. It's just a little bit different. Well, I think I've said enough. Chris52 doing a great job in the chat room, helping me out to describe and explain what's going on. Thanks a lot, man. I should prepare notes like that and just paste them every now and then in the chat room myself. Thank you for helping out, explaining how the form works and the fact that it's closed right now and everything. Clstr has been played, and this was Mike Sylvan has been played. Your first attempt in the genre. Really, really good stuff. And again, made on the Deluge. Great stuff. How did you... When? Whatever. Let's move on to the next one. Moldy Thoughts. You have made a submission. made a submission, made a contribution. I heard Danny Brown talking about a topic that touched me emotionally. So the creative part of my brain was like, hold my beer. I went over to my SP404 Mark II and made a minimalistic soundscape for the message. Whoa. Cool. Moldy thoughts. Can't wait for this one.
To smoke weed in a hotel room, man. It's very easy to get caught. I've been caught countless times. I've been kicked out of hotels. You want to bring something like an Ozium, blunt man spray, pina colada. Them shits work though. You get what I'm saying? Because they gonna throw them off the scent. I be at the motherfucking desk, you know what I'm saying? Signing my shit, getting my credit card. I'm spraying shit down there. Bow, bow. So you want the smell to be everywhere, cunt. You get what I'm saying? I hit the elevator. I'm spraying. Bow, bow. You get to your floor. You just want to spray along the cracks of the entire door. So you want to take the garbage bag out the trash can, and you want to tape this garbage bag over the smoke detector. The next thing you want to do is you want to towel the door. But one thing you got to understand, you need to wet this towel, man. I don't think a lot of people understand it. They just throw a dry ass towel up under the door. That shit does nothing, man. The fucking weed still goes out. Everybody deals with it. If they have a microwave in there, that's like jackpot. What you want to do is you want to go buy you some microwave popcorn and you want to burn that shit to the maximum. I'm talking about make that shit. You gonna have a whole flow, everything. You don't even need to towel your dough at this point. Everything smell like burnt popcorn. We smoking all day.
Cool. I think I saw parts of that interview. Danny Brown sampled for, what did you call this? A minimalistic soundscape for the message. Cool. You know, people have all sorts of tricks when it comes to weed. To each his own. To each his own. When it comes to the musical aspects of what you did here, you know, it's this version of it is 1 minute and 33 seconds. To me, that's what it should be. Not much more, at least. Having these pitchy things becomes cool and vibey, and you know, you start thinking about things just by hearing that, not even considering what the interview was all about. We had a little bit of instrumental in the beginning. You know, as music producers and music lovers and enjoyers and listeners and makers, hearing notes badly out of pitch is different. Some people can't stand it. I can. I don't have perfect pitch by any means. And I get the whole kind of artistic thing you're going for and what you're kind of successfully doing. Is it super enjoyable in the long run? I don't know. Can you listen to that for like an entire album with just stuff like that? I don't know. But we hear a lot of beats on this channel, in this live streaming series, and having something that's, yeah, it has drums and it has notes and everything, but it's not a beat. It's not a proper beat for a rapper or anything. It's supposed to work as an instrumental, and it's supposed to kind of start the thinking process, and it does, even though the interview here is what it is.
I've been kicked out of hotels. You want to bring something like an Ozium, blunt man spray, pina colada. Them shits work though. You get what I'm saying? Because they gonna throw them.
You know, if you worked on the musical part of that and put someone like MF Doom on it, it could work. You know, that's nice. Thanks a lot for sending this one in. I appreciate having stuff that's not just purely boom boom psh, boom boom psh, beats. You know, that's also fun. I used to do this. It didn't work. Okay. Carbon Vibes is here? Yeah, late today. Yeah, you came in like a couple of minutes ago. I'm kidding. Thanks a lot for being here. We love seeing you return. Carbon Vibes, for sure. I like the beat. It's a lot of words. Yeah, sure. Moldy Thoughts says lame and lazy. I don't know about that. I think it's kind of cool. And having stuff like that, again, as a palate cleanser in this show, helps. It's cool. The next one comes from John Mossi. Has been featured before, but only like once, I think. Been meaning to shorten to 2 minutes. It's a little bit long. Synth solo at 2:30. Please listen. Drums by AJ Hall. Thanks for hearing this. Let's go. Let's play Mr. John Mossi. I think I remember who you are, but yeah. Oh. So you wanted us to hear the synth solo at 2:30, and we did. We played it for 3 minutes, and that's above the limit. You know, music that evolves over time, just not okay. Music that evolves over time, not by the music actually evolving over time, but you as a listener growing into it, is cool. My first thought here was that, yeah, lo-fi drums, you just overdid it a little bit. You know, having a little bit of the higher frequencies on the snare drum doesn't hurt, you know? And I still kind of feel that way. But when you're in the zone, when you're listening to it and you're like in the process of enjoying the music, you stop thinking about all that and you're just getting the feeling, the emotion. And it works. Drums, awesome. Maybe a little bit too much lo-fi effect for my taste, but that's subjective. And the piano and everything, the bass line, this is really, really good stuff. Hands down. A lot of space left in there, a lot of space between the notes, and a lot of like, this is not someone who works on like a 2-bar loop. This is someone who listens to the entire thing and has the ability to zoom out and just see the bigger picture and work on something in a bigger perspective. And sure, the synth thing that happens at 2:30 over here, it's really good. Someone really thought about this. There's a lot of thought going into it, but also a lot of emotion and a lot of vibes. This is really, really good. I wrote in the chat room, it's a perfect scratch beat. And it is. I could hear some of my friends that are like scratch DJs for real go crazy on this one. The tempo, the feeling, the swing, really good stuff. Someone says, love it, grimy space funk. Yeah, it's spacey without being like over dramatic that it becomes like, yeah, I know what you did, whatever. It's actually seriously cool. Nice beat, danceable as fuck. Danceable? Yeah, that's one like entire section of music I don't ever think about. Could it be danced to? Is it dance music? I don't know. Griselda type? Yeah, sure. John here. The drums were pre-processed already by AJ Hall and I processed more. Too much. Yeah. First time playing keys. It felt really good with my first solo. Thanks everyone for feedback. Cool. I can't say a lot of stupid stuff here. The drums, it might be a little bit much on the processing, but that's, again, it's a matter of taste. Beautiful piece of music. Beautiful. This is more than a beat, more of a song. More than a beat and more of a song, without it actually being a song. Really good work. Really good work. And Chris52 pointed out before, and I just want to touch on that. The level is crazy high. You guys are amazing. All of you. The level is... honestly, we had a few episodes in the beginning of the series where we had things, the quality were all left and right. And that's really, really cool in one way. But having music on this level... The next one comes from Billy Pads. What's up again? This is a record I made with a J. Cole acapella. Don't know a lot of rappers, so I used acapellas. Once again, it ain't mixed. Cool. J. Cole, one of those rappers. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's going to be really, really loud and I'm going to take it down. Hold on.
My mind state for like the crime in the summertime. Higher than average, lot of cabbage. Thank God I never abide by the established guidelines that keep niggas inside of fabrics. Commissioned by the state, I skate by the masters like you with a new riding passenger. Shout out Oak Cliff, I'm about to fly to Dallas. Decade from now, I might just buy the Mavericks. What up, Mark Cuban? I am only part human, half man, half amazing. Plus I'm good at math like I'm Asian. Hate to use stereotypes, but that's like comparing what a nigga get from Caucasians. No race, bacon, treat the beat like PlayStation. Reporting to you live from the International Space Station. I probably vacation on Mars. The flow is out of this world and so's the bars. Blow the facade right off of your squad. Little rappers, I love you, but you ain't shit to you got offers in Prague. Look that shit up. A book, nigga, pick that shit up. Expand your vocab. I'm giving out toe tags for no cash. Also along plus 3 seasons after Bleed CC. A rapper tell him meet me. It's absolutely imperative that my heat speak to rappers. The problem with this game is this weak see rappers. I'm the answer on the low. I'm a cheat sheet for rappers. I came around AC to DC adapters. Plug talk. What I'm really saying is a shame, but my niggas move cane like HBCU cappers. Hometown full of CC Sabathis. You think niggas getting fat, bitch and crack? Not really. This is not the 80s. Don't be silly. Now we push pills and sell heroin to Billy. Now Billy mama want the judge a part of his addiction. How many black addicts that got caught up in the system? With no side stories on your primetime television, I can smell a blatant contradiction. Man, listen. Don't wanna fuck up my vibe, let's end it on a positive note. Come see me live, KOD, album of the year, undebatably. My KSB, the greatest we've seen since the late MC, whose name was D. Notorious, Dreamville, stacked like the Warriors. Winning back to back, next up the back is my nigga Boss. After that, Jimmy Chid, that's a New York City kid, plus ATL. Me, I'm from the field, but I know them towns well. Before I had a deal, I was giving niggas hell. Now I'm giving niggas deals and they giving niggas hell.
Whew. Honestly, I would have loved to hear this without J. Cole. He's a great rapper, and it made sense for the acapella to fit in there, sure. But you put that much work into the beat that I'm just fighting my entire way through it, not listening to the vocals. Because beat review, we're talking about beats. This is okay. I'm not saying anything else. This is okay. Do this. Insert an acapella and it's fine. But the beat here is really cool. Worked on, for sure.
Shout out Oak Cliff, I'm about to fly to Dallas. Decade from now, I might just buy the Mavericks. What up, Mark Cuban? I am only part human, half man, half amazing.
One thing I want to point out, we're going to get into some positive too, because, first of all, it got to be negative. It feels like you added a Rhodes piano. I don't even know what, but it sounds to me like the Lizard Wizard or whatever. I'm really going into the details. To me, it sounds like the chords, the Rhodes piano, the chords are played like, fully slammed down on every key. So I think the entire mix could benefit from just turn the velocity from 126 to like 90 and see what happens with the character of the Rhodes piano. It's not bad to have it hard hitting like this, but in this specific beat, I think if we just had some more nuance in the Rhodes piano chords, that would have made more sense. Listen to the chords on the Rhodes.
By the established God, man, half amazing. Plus I'm good at math like I'm Asian. Hate to use stereotypes, but that's like comparing what a nigga get from Caucasians. No race, bacon, treat the beat like PlayStation. Reporting to you live from the International Space Station.
And you still get away with it because you have this filter thing going on back and forth, and that's cool. But what would happen if every single note wasn't played as hard as possible? Now, the drums in this one, something I tend to do myself whenever I make music is to go for boom, tum, ka, tum, boom, boom, ka, boom, boom, ka, boom, 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 ka. This type of half-tempo drums without losing the energy, because you can still clearly,
Vacation on Mars, the flow is out of this world, and so is the boss.
It's really cool. And it leaves you hanging a little bit. It creates tension and this push-pull relationship that we talk a lot about just by having a drum pattern like that. On something like this, I think it really works. But you have so many instruments and so many cool things going on, so the rapper just destroys it. And this thing, with the filters and the automation and stuff.
But you ain't shit till you got offers in Prague. Look that shit up. A book, nigga, pick that shit up. Expand your vocab. I'm giving out toe tags for no cash. Also alone.
Vocals in the background too. Ah, jeez.
Not really. This is not the 80s. Don't be silly. Now we push pills and sell heroin to Billy. Now Billy Mama want the judge a part of his addiction. How many black addicts that got caught up in the system with no side stories on your primetime television? I can smell a blatant contradiction. Man, listen. Don't wanna fuck up my vibe. Let's end it on a positive note. Come see me live. KOD.
The bass, I love the bass line. This is really cool and interesting because there's a lot of stuff to talk about, which makes it an interesting beat. Kind of old movie vibes. This was made on the MPC-1. Awesome. I can always mute him. Yeah, of course. To be honest, I can't remember what I did when I made it. I think it was last year sometime. I mean, the chord progression here is dum, 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 dum. It's nice. It doesn't need to be more difficult than that. It could be that simple and still just fly. And it does. What's impressive to me here is the rhythm and the groove together with all the automation and stuff going on. Because I said it last week and I'm going to say it again. Whenever you have a musical idea that's not too complicated, maybe you want to do a little bit more work with the actual production, which is actually exactly what you did. The other way around, if it's just the musical idea holds their own, you don't need to go too crazy with the production because it's cool and exciting for what it is. Yeah, this is really good. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Your name was Billy Pads, or in the chat room, also known as Project 35. It's the same guy. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more beats to go. If there's any confusion about who got in and not, let's do this right now. We have Diego Pontigo. Diego Pontigo. Weren't you in here before? No, you weren't. My bad. Diego Pontigo. We have Ken Don. We have Gken. And we have Tobias Stockner and Bus Music. Those are the beats we're going to play today. Today. Starting off with Diego Pontigo. Hello, third week uploading. Okay, so that's why I got confused. Thank you so much for the chance to share my music. I'm not just going to share it, I'm going to criticize the hell out of it. Diego Pontigo, also known as Buckshot Jerry, in the chat room. Let's go. Oh, did I stop it? I think we played about the entire thing. 2 minutes worth. Gotta be honest. I have a little bit of a family situation. I received a text on my watch. A little bit of a family situation. It's not, panic right now, but I might have to leave. Buckshot Jerry, though. The beat. This feels like one of those beats that, it's just a really pleasant and nice listening experience. It's mysterious, it's suggestive, and it's just cool. Makes you think about darkness, rain, that entire vibe. And I'm not against that. I love it. Going a little bit weird with the entire thing, with those, sounds like a wolf. Nice textures and nice everything. Am I lacking a little bit of a bass line? Maybe just a little bit of some like low rumble in there. Maybe. This with the rapper. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. And you don't have a lot of slices for the sample here. It's pretty much just two chops going back and forth. It's not a bad thing. That's not what I'm saying. But yeah, ghosts and like werewolves and full moon and, scary stuff. A lot of people are liking the panning. I can't hear the panning, but I'm gonna take your word for it. Voice arrangement sucks. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people like this. And I think the winning factor about this track is the drums and the swing and the vibe of that together with all the emotions and all the darkness and all the scary stuff we're getting. Because that stuff, without the drums, without the groove and without the swing, would be kind of flat. So you kind of brought out that whole thing by adding this nice drum groove on it. Me, as a person, I would like more of a bass line. Or just process differently. Like duplicate the bass line to something else and just do some filtering on it and just leave some more of the actual bass frequencies. Now there's a lot of rumble, but we also need it to be more in your face. Bro, there is, but I put it so low because I wasn't sure of it. But I have a sub bass like a saw following the melody of the piano. Okay, so that makes sense to what I'm saying, right? I want more of the bass. It's there, but it's low and too rumbly. Maybe it's your sub bass kind of fooling you, or maybe my headphones fooling me. Who knows? It would have been cool to have the bass line taking a little bit more space in the mix. Because again, we're working with contrast, right? And the snare drum and the hi-hat you have over here, they have a lot of room in the upper registers. So maybe balancing that by adding some more stuff in the lower frequencies. And it's there. You just put it too low because you wasn't sure of it. Yeah. That's what I do too. That happens always. like, yeah, I'm not really sure that it's in pitch or that it works. I'm just going to put it lower. No, don't. Trust yourself, trust your gut, and just leave it there. Crank it and allow the bass line to take some space. Reminds me a little bit of Method Man and Mary J. That's like doom, 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 doom. Which one is that? On the Rooftop, Mary J. Blige and Method Man. All I need is to get by. Yeah. No, I don't pick it up, but I know what you're saying. So let's move on to my text messages just to see how bad my family situation is. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to address this. Hold on. So, family time. It's not happening right now. We're gonna keep doing this. All I need to get by. Yeah, that's the one. Mary J. Blige and Method Man. One of the tracks that kind of made me start thinking about music in a different way, because I heard that track and I had access to a piano or something, and I noticed that the melody was like one half step down. Dun, 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 dun. That's the entire melody. And I took away from that, like, yeah, it could be simple. Diego Pontigo, thank you. Or names Buckshot Jerry. Yeah. The next one comes from Ken Don. Made this one on the Octatrack for a YouTube video. Cool, the Octatrack. That's also a machine to use. Ken Don on the Octatrack. sometimes we gotta pick things apart in two different, we gotta separate the beat and the production from the mixing. The problem with this one is that it becomes really, to me at least, difficult to listen to for a long time, because it's, I don't know, if you put like a distortion at the end of the signal chain and thought that was cool, or if it's just overdriven. It's too loud, it's too much, it's just, you can do this with just a limiter, just a brick wall limiter, and just slamming it too hard, and then it becomes, what is this, mixing wise. So the mixing here needs to be, take it down. This whole thing about the volume war is, we don't need to think about that. We don't need to make things as loud as humanly possible. People can just, increase the volume if that's necessary. But normally, whenever you send it to Spotify or Apple Music or whatever, they normalize everything. So reaching the right LUTs and whatever needs to be thought about still, but it's not as big of a thing anymore. So please don't try to go for as loud volume as possible, because then you can easily just destroy your mix. And I think that's what happened here. But the feeling, the vibe, the musical ideas, the drums, the swing, everything here, it's nice. It's cinematic and it's cool, and it has a nice, chill vibe to it. And if you want this kind of sad filmic vibe of the entire thing, that's even more of a reason not to go for the loudness. Because you want the listener to enjoy all the small things in there. And you can't. Whenever you slam the volume like this, it's just not there. You can cook the best food in the world and just add too much salt. So all the flavors and everything is still in there, but it's all hidden by this layer of salt. In this case, the mix just bugs me too much, but the vibe, the guitars, the slidey guitars and stuff, sure, it becomes problematic because the kick drum becomes... The harmonics you're getting there with the guitar going over the bass line and, having two different... That kind of tension is beautiful, and it brings out so much coolness in this track in general. For sure. But the volume, the mixing. It's a nice beat. Everything was nice about it. Except from the mixing. Mixing or post-processing or whatever you want to call it. Just too much. Other than that, awesome. Made on the Octatrack for a YouTube video. Having this beat played with like slow motion video of something cool, like I'm thinking sand, like a sandstorm in the desert, dry, because I don't know. I talk too much. The next one comes from Gken. Hey, new beat I created last week. Thanks for the stream. Someone who hadn't a lot of time to just add a long message, which is fine. Gken was in the chat room 2 hours ago. I don't know if you're still here, but maybe you are. Oh. 1 minute. So I guess you're still working on this. It's 1 minute, so let's play it 1.5 times. Okay, so my first thought here was that, the bass line is awesome. That little slidey thing, super powerful. But everything else that you're adding here, in terms of the musical notes or whatever, the piano, the Rhodes, the electric piano, whatever it is, that needs to be brought out. Because the bass line is nice, but it's just a bass line, to be perfectly honest. It's the bass of this is the start of a really cool track, for sure. The drums has the push and pull going, with the hi-hats being a little bit too loud for my taste, but that's me. And the bass line being all funky, driving the entire thing forward. Nice. Now, what's next? If it's this electric piano, I want to hear more of it. More volume, more notes, more in there. But, the vibe, the flow, the rhythm, the groove, it's nice. The bass line is cool, but don't get it twisted. The bass line is a bass line. So allow the bass line to play the role of a bass line and have something else adding to it, This intro works really, really, really good. I'm not hating on it. It's just, we need something more. And you have some Rhodes piano notes in there that works well. Just replace them in the mix. Allow those notes to take the volume of the bass line and the bass line to just be taken down a little bit. But this is good. This is Gken. I guess this is a work in progress. You're working on this one. And it has the vibe, the feeling. Those? Is that a guitar? I'm not sure that's in pitch. Doesn't need to be. But yeah, I think this is really cool. This is a good start for something, but I would keep working on it. Gken says, yeah, need some more. Thanks for the feedback. Maybe let's leave it at that. Let's not dwell on this too much and just like giving you a bad feeling of it. It's not bad. The bass line is awesome. The drums is awesome. Everything there is good. I just think it needs a little bit more. That's me. And again, I am often wrong, and I could be wrong. Is that made with a rapper in mind? In that case, who needs anything else? Let's move along. Gken, you're good at what you do. We know that. 2 more beats. 2 more beats. And people, I'm not neglecting my family. That's not what's happening. I got text saying that, hey, we're having a bit of an issue. I responded. Then I got another text saying everything's fine. Which means everything's fine. We have that relationship in the family. When someone says everything is fine, everything is fine. No need to worry about anything. But we don't have a lot of beats left. And we've already been live for 2.5 hours. So the next one comes from Tobias Stockner. Yo, accurate. This one, a track from a mixtape I like to drop this year. This one I don't know. Someone made a track for a mixtape he wants to drop this year. Cool. And Tobias Stockner was featured 1 or 2 weeks ago. Not that I can remember at all what it was, but this is another track. Honestly, it would be really cool to have something like high energy, different. We've had a lot of beats now. Everything is good. Everything is good. But we've had a lot of mysterious stuff. So something easy to listen to, just quick and easy, fun would be fun.
If you do not have styles, if you just say, well, here I am, you know, as a human being, how can I express myself totally and completely? Now, that way, you won't create a style, because style is a crystallization, you know? I mean, that way,
okay.
It's a process of continuing grow.
Okay, that's the file. So, I might go completely mad or deaf, you know? This is dysfunk. Okay, cool. This is dysfunk. And it feels like I'm repeating myself, but I felt the same way about this one. Let me just listen to my speakers and just see if I'm getting everything here or if anything's up. My voice sounds fine. Everything sounds fine. Let's just double check on this. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. So this is again not bad at all, not by any means. This is good. But again, we're getting a lot of drums, we're getting a lot of bass. Is it just me that kind of wants something more out of this world? That's a harsh way of putting it, but you know, there is obviously more than just bass here. There's this dum 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 dum. Don't get me wrong, bass is cool. We all need bass in our beats. Sometimes I feel often the opposite way, like people are not putting enough bass. People are too scared to put a lot of bass in their beats because, the bass line is an important thing. In this case, it feels the same way to me. We need more notes in the upper registers, in the upper frequency spectrum. Just having a lot of bass is really cool, but having nothing more makes you, it's not. Again, for rappers, that's one thing. But I just want some crispness, some clarity. Yeah, clarity is the word. This funk, what are you saying? This is an old project made within MPC 1000. Didn't find an MP3 in the rush. Fine, that's cool. This is not an MP3? Yeah, it is. Are you picking up what I'm laying down? Don't know why, but this one note in the background disturbs me. This one I like the drums, but the melody chops sounds uninspired. Yeah, I'm not picking up much at all. I just want more of everything. Not the bass, but more of everything else. Maybe it's just the MPC 1000 being kind of, it has its own sound, which is cool. It feels really, really underground hip-hop and like that. But a part of me still, I can't deny it. And that type of vocal chop, repeating, like with the delay and stuff, it's cool. And especially as you're saying, it's for a mixtape. Then it fits nicely in there, I'm sure. But the crispness, the airiness, and the I like that. There's a lot of that in the drums, but maybe we're just making drums and bass. That's fine. Chris52, thanks a lot for helping out in the chat room again. And this funk, don't please. I'm not trying to be mean. It's just, maybe it's also because we're 2.5 hours in. I just want some shininess, some crispness, some airiness, some I don't know. For what it is, yeah, okay. What I'm trying to say is this. There's too much bass. Okay. Me being an asshole. Maybe it's a little bit empty. Maybe it is. Okay. It's just a break part for the mixtape. Okay, cool. So let's move on to the next one. He also said it's fine. So, okay, we're gonna leave it. Sorry. I am kind of a weird person after 2.5 hours of streaming. I noticed that. But the next one comes from Buzz Music, and we fixed that camera. Buzz Music with message another beat. Awesome. Let's play this one.
Table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. Nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people. White collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all.
Yeah, cool. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. I can't hear myself. Yes, I can. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, we're not here to like compare beats to each other, but in this case, there's a lot of drums, a lot of bass, and there's also stuff going on in the foreground. Again, this mix feels a little bit strangely balanced, but it is what it is. Here we have clear, obvious samples, stuff that's not the bass. There's something else in there. And also, the importance of adding ear candy. This whole sound effect makes it all fun to listen to. Because it's fun. The tempo, the swing, the groove, everything is fun about it. And the ear candy things just makes it sound more well-produced than it actually is. It's basically a cheat code to just making things sound better than it is. That's what I do too on YouTube. I put my scratch on things to make things sound more finished, polished, and better than it is. But something that a lot of people do when you're mixing music, like when we're talking about like traditional music production, a lot of people who mixes records with vocalists, like actual songs with singers and stuff, they tend to go up and down with the volume every now and then. Because when you lower the volume to the absolute minimum, the last thing you're supposed to be able to pick up is the vocals. Sometimes the snare too, because it's kind of in the same frequency range. For a beat like this, if I listen to it and I turn down the volume as I go.
Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you.
One of the last... okay, sure. One of the last things I can pick up is the sub bass. Doom, 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 doom. Which is not the end of the world. But sometimes when you're working on stuff and you're working on the mix as you make the track, increase the volume. Having it loud is cool and beneficial for some things. And then nudge the volume back to listen to it again. What sticks out? What's the last thing I can hear when I turn down the volume? Is it the subby bass line at a really low volume? Does that really make sense? The bass line is supposed to be there for whenever you blast it, So to me, we're talking about fine adjustments here. But again, maybe the sub bass is a little bit loud. And that takes a little bit of the energy out. Oh, Buzz says that was a free dub siren plugin. Sure, no matter what it is, just having things that breaks the monotony of the beat itself is never a bad thing. I'm not saying this is monotone.
Don't give a...
And the tricks with the open hi-hat like that is really cool. It adds a lot of swing and variation and feeling. I like it. Good work. I would have worked a little bit on the mixing, but that's, me talking about the same thing over and over and over. But yeah, it loses a little bit of punch. Because, when we're talking about like a jazz band playing, you always talk about the drums and the bass line being the rhythm section. And you need a push and pull kind of relationship between those two. And that translates to mixing when we make beats, Not trying to sound like the godfather of beat making here, but still. Finding the right balance between the drums and the bass line is so crucial. For what I do, the way I make beats, let's talk to the camera. The way I make my beats, the drums and the sample chops plays the bigger part. And then I normally just add the bass line as kind of an afterthought. Sometimes it's, not loud enough. And if you do your process the other way around, still try to keep a balance between the drums and the bass. Because as we heard in this really old school thing made by Benj, he nailed it. The balance between the drums and the bass line, because the bass line added to the rhythm in a really cool way. What you do in here is kind of that, but not quite, because the bass line is a little bit too loud. The subby dum 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 dum. If that blended in better with the drums, it would just bring more energy into it. So taking down the volume is like taking out the energy, but not always, because you're creating this 2-part section of the song. That's the rhythm section with the drums and the bass line. Whew! Trying to have kind of a lecture here. What am I doing? Sorry about that. However, we have moved through all the tracks for today. 17 of them. The first one came in 8:14 and the last one 8:16. So 2 minutes. Less than 3 at least. So time for me to leave and say goodbye, and everything is messing up. There we are. Okay. So we're about to leave. But first of all, I want to make this clear. We did this poll an hour ago, asking people if we should make an episode without the regulars. And I'm not talking about like doing that for the entire thing. I'm talking about one episode to just not allow or not play beats by people we've heard a lot before. It feels contradictory to do that in one way, but also kind of, for one episode, I guess that would be fine. So someone like, sorry for pointing that out, or someone like Benj, for instance, he's been featured a lot and we love what he does. But since I can't stream for forever and I can't do this more than once a week, so maybe it makes sense to leave some space for people who hasn't been featured. To me, it says something. I had the thing open for 2 minutes and we had 17 beats. That says something. And if we could avoid people who have been played a lot before, we could still have 10, 12 beats by people we haven't heard. To me, that would make sense for one episode. I'll be submitting for 5 different alternate accounts. Benj, okay. If you want to go all crazy to do like, I'm not gonna pick up on that. That's fine. I know you're joking. I understand that for sure. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do for next week, and I'm gonna announce that somehow on Instagram and whatever. Anyone can submit. No one's gonna be banned, but if I recognize your name too much in the email, I'm just gonna skip it. To me, that just makes sense, to allow more people who hasn't been featured to get their music played and for us to leave some feedback on other people. Not saying that I hate everyone that's a regular, quite the opposite of that. But yeah, you're joking, obviously. I know. Definitely not Benj enters the chat room. Cool. And someone said, Beat Owl and Moran isn't here right now. And we, they normally come in. They're not here. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. So next week, yeah, I made up my mind. Next week is Newcomers Week. So people who hasn't been featured a lot before. I'm not gonna like have a rule for this, but if I'm getting an email from Pete KS has been featured a few times. If I'm getting an email from Dysfunk, for instance, Atomonos has been featured a lot. If there's for people I really recognize as regulars, I'm just not gonna play you next week. Next week is newcomers, beginners, or like people who's made beats for years. I don't care. Anything's gonna be accepted, but I'm just gonna skip the regular visitors, submitters, participators, words. So yeah, tomorrow is Tuesday and I'm off from my day job, so I'm gonna work on projects in the studio for a video. I posted a video like yesterday or before the day before that, and more is happening. Some really cool stuff is coming up for the future. Can't talk much more about that, but just so you know. Where do I send the email? You don't send an email. You go into accuratebeats.com, my official website. And on the website, you can go to Beat Review, and you can go into another page, I think. And there's a submission, a form for you to type your name if you want to, and a message, and submit a file. That has to be less than 10 megabytes, so an MP3, and submit it, and it comes into to me to be featured on the show. And I'm gonna open the submission form as we start next week's live stream. So it's not gonna be open before that. It's just whenever we start on Monday, I'm gonna open it up and you guys can send it in. The same time as today. The times are also on the website. So accuratebeats.com, that's the only way to submit beats right now. That's what it is. Not the best system in the world, but it works. And fuck it, I got 17 beats in 2 minutes, so it obviously works. But for today, we don't have any more music to listen to. So I guess that's it, Everything has been marked as read and played. Just checking on that before I go to bed. Not the last one. Bus music, I forgot to hit your thing. And also for Tobias. Okay. You guys have been played, and that's what it is. Next week, only newcomers. I mean, if you sent me a beat like 7 weeks ago, I'm not even going to remember your username, and that's fine. But the plan is to just accept people who are somewhat new to the channel and somewhat new to the series. Just because. So yeah, I open up the submission form at the start of the stream. Once he gets around 12 to 17 beats, he closes it again. Yeah, and honestly, 17 is too much. I don't want to do 17. I want to do like 10 to 15 beats. Today it took 2 minutes, so I'm obviously not the boss of this. You are. But yeah. That's it for today. I don't have any more words, and I think it's fun for what it is. Thanks a lot for submitting all the beats to everyone. You guys are building this show as we go. And that's the entire purpose of this thing, to just having you guys take up the space and own the show. And you're doing a great job of that. And I appreciate it. It's awesome. It's nice. This YouTube channel, at least this live streaming concept, is more yours than mine these days. I keep talking about stuff, I know, but that's what I do. But without you guys, this wouldn't work. And I think we have evidence now that says that this works, I think this is much better than the old system because you can submit your guaranteed feedback and you can be sure that the people are present who submitted. Yeah, that's my thought exactly. We used to just have it open and I had like 50 beats to go through and no one was in the chat that made the beat or whatever. This way around, if you submit it on Monday when the show starts, there's a good chance you're going to be there for the show. Not just for me to get retention or whatever, but just it makes more sense for you to be in the chat room, to hear what everyone says, to participate in the conversation. That's what we do. So thanks a lot for hanging out, guys, and I'm going to go to bed and start working on another video tomorrow. Again, visit accuratebeats.com next Monday for a chance to submit your beats to this show. Now that's all said and done, I'm actually going to finish and say goodbye. Peace out. Yeah, I can do the intro again. That's what I want to do. Ha det gott.